back to another episode. And I just gotta say, don't mind me. I sound very congested because I am. My baby was sick, and now I have caught that same cold. It's okay though. It's okay. We still got time to recover. So I was in prayer today, and it was very interesting to me because God was telling me to do something. So he was like, "Come on to this video here, and go ahead and say what I gotta say." I was like, "What I gotta talk about?" He's like, "You're gonna go and just be in front of the camera, and I'm just gonna speak through you." And I'm like, "All right, just what if all right, I'll listen. Whatever you want, I'm just gonna be obedient." And I just feel this heavy like feeling that he wants me to talk to you guys about what I went through, which was God telling you to do something when you don't want to do it, and how your flesh will try to stop you from doing what you know that the spirit wants you to do. So what I mean by that is, so recently in the last 24 hours, I got word from a little birdie that someone that I really decided not to have in my life, God wants me to basically have some type of talk with them. And the funniest thing is to me is that God had me talk to this person before, yet that person did not want to receive that message, let alone hear the message. And then later on, when God had instructed me to message that person a little short, simple, sweet, concise message, text message, that person received it, but the way they received it wasn't what A, I were expected. What does that mean? Basically saying like God was like, go ahead and talk to that person. And I'm gonna be like, no. I don't want to. He's like, well, if you want to obey me, if you love me the way you say you love me, you're gonna obey me. And I'm like, touche, touche. So what ended up happening was God basically told me I'm gonna have to talk to that person. But it's crazy because that message that he had sent me to give to that person ended up mocking me as a messenger and saying that, oh, coming after me and being like, oh, she thinks God talks to her. And I'm like, he talks to everybody. It's just you decide whether or not you want to listen or just, continue on doing whatever you're doing. Yeah, you're right. Exactly, sweetheart. As I was saying, God said I had to go talk to this person because that person wants to be a part of this like event, life event of mine. And I'm just like, okay, God, I don't know what you want from me when it comes to the situation, but I know you want me to let go of things, and I've been praying on the situation because I'm like a lot of you guys. I am not perfect. I always tell God like I don't want to feel like a phony, coming on here and talking to you guys about what He wants me to do because I'm not perfect. I don't want you guys to think, oh, God talks to her, she's perfect. Like, no, I'm not perfect. I can tell you, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell him myself that I am kind of being disobedient. What I mean by that is that I know that I should let go of something, but it's like my flesh doesn't want me to let it go. How does he not, or how does my flesh not want it to let it go? Well, I kind of want to hold on to that yucky feeling, like the ick, ick feeling. And I know I should let it go, but it's like, it's really hard for me to want to let it go because I feel my flesh feels better holding on to it, but it's just going to turn into bitterness. So long term, it's not good. Short term gratification, I guess you receive it, but it really doesn't do you any good in the future or even now. Yet I still want to hold on to it. My spirit, on the other hand, wants me to let go of it, but it's really hard for me to let go of it in the spirit because the spirit's like, well, I'm gonna need you to have your flesh let it go. I was feeling really upset about it. My husband's not home. He's at church. He's doing the Christmas service today, so he's singing out there while I'm here because me and my baby are sick. So we don't want to spread the germs. We want to spread the love, but not the germs. So we decided to do humanity a favor and be considerate and stay home. Sidebar. I just don't really care for people who go out when they're sick. Like, don't get me sick. So I'm gonna just be that type of person that's not gonna get you sick. Just know I'm very considerate in that way. Anyways, I felt that in that moment I needed to go into prayer, but my words weren't manifesting in the prayer that I needed to pray because I felt like I didn't have the words. I felt like my flesh was rebuking whatever I was trying to do, and that's not what I needed it to do. which is why God created the language of the tongues. A lot of people don't believe in the tongues, but I have a lot of people who I'm around that speak in tongues, and believe it or not, I didn't realize it until today's prayer while I was in prayer that God put it into me, like in my during my prayer, like He put me back in this place that I was when I was a preteen at this old church that I used to go to. And in that church, I remember like in the front, you would walk to the altar, and at the altar, they would pray for you. And I would fall like raindrops every time. I don't know. It was just a spirit. I felt it. It was so heavy. I just fell back. But before I did, I remember I started speaking like a couple syllables here and there, like repeatedly. But the people who were around me praying, they kept saying, "Oh, she has a gift of tongues." I didn't realize that in that moment I received the gift of tongues. It wasn't until today's prayer that God's like, I already gave you the gift, but because you didn't exercise your gift, it didn't grow, but you still have it. And it got me to wonder, how many of us have a talent that God has given us at the age of a young age, like youth, that we didn't understand the beauty or the significance of that actual gift, nor did we like take it out of the box, like unwrap it like a Christmas present. We didn't unwrap the box and like hold it and like play with it and actually do something with it. I feel like a lot of people have been in that situation and then they grow up and they're like, "Oh, I wish I had that gift," but God's like, "I gave it to you." Like, check it out. I already gave it to you. It's just like it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there in the corner collecting dust. Just dust it off and put it to use. And, it really got me to feel like, wow, I haven't been using my talent this whole time, but I had it this whole time. And I've been praying to God for the last 2 years to give me the gift of tongues because I felt like, Lord, I don't want to be left behind. What's up? Like, I want to talk to you where my flesh is not able to understand what I'm saying to you. Because today, let me just say, it really evolved the way I was speaking. It was like turning into a whole actual language I don't understand. And I'm like, I didn't know what I was saying. I didn't understand it. However, when I was speaking it, I was like feeling this lightness. Like I could feel like my heart's burden was being lifted. Because whatever I was not able to put into words, I was able to say it in the spirit in tongues, which is only like a language that God can understand. It's just like language between me and Him. I have yet to find an interpreter, but God actually says that's the most greatest gift to be like have the interpretation of tongues. I've yet to met someone like that, but hey, that's just a sidebar. As I was praying in tongues, I felt so much better, and I felt like, wow, this is like why God gave us a gift of tongues. No one can duplicate the language or the dialect that you have. Everybody has a different dialect of tongues, so that way it's like unique to you. So you having the gift of tongues and me having the gift of tongues, yes, we have the gift of tongues, but it doesn't sound similar. That's why it's so important to understand, like, when you're practicing, don't feel kind of crazy when you do, because at the end of the day, it's unique to you and God. It can't be duplicated and it shouldn't be duplicated. And you don't need to know what's being said because your spirit is speaking on your behalf to God. And it's a beautiful thing to me. As I was praying, I was basically, I don't know exactly what I was saying, but I know deep in my spirit that the things I wasn't trying to let go of and pray about, because the enemy's gonna try and stop me from it, right? I was praying about it in tongues, and I was able to speak, and my flesh couldn't stop me. My flesh couldn't stop my spirit from delivering that prayer to God, which is a beautiful thought because you think that we're living in a world where you are stopped from doing things that you should be doing because of selfish desires of the flesh. And we can't always just determine what that is. But when you are in the spirit and you feel a lightness and God gives you an idea of what you were praying and you're just like, oh wow, God, okay, so you just helped me out. Cool. When I come out here, I'm saying to you, I'm not perfect. I have like feelings like you guys. There are some people in this world where I just am like, yo, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm one of those people where if you do me wrong, it's sayonara. It's adios. It's hasta luego. It's hamjata. I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving. I am not. Like, I don't want to speak to you. Like, I love you. Like, there are some people where I'm like, I love you in the very, very deepest corners, darkest places of my heart. I love you. I don't like you. I'm sorry. I just don't like you. I cannot vibes. I don't vibes with you. Don't vibes. But it's okay because I can still love you. God didn't say we gotta be besties. But God said I do gotta love you. So I'll love you and anything happens, I'm gonna love you like my own. I'm gonna like if you ever need something, I'm gonna be there for you. But sometimes it's like you gotta understand that we don't gotta be in each other's lives in order for me to love you from a distance and for me to pray for you and for me to be there for you. Like I could love you without really having to have a full on relationship with you. Unless God tells me otherwise, I'm sticking to that story. But you talk to God before you do anything. Don't listen to me, okay? I'm just talking about what I feel, you know? However, God is going to still tell you to talk to these people. And most of the time, you're not going to want to talk to them. 99 point, bless you. 99.9% of the time, you ain't going to want to talk to these people. And trust me, I don't want to talk to these people. But God has a special purpose and a plan. He wants you to talk to them for a reason. And it's my daughter agrees. There's something in that conversation that's meant to blossom, that you're supposed to be the seed, and you're supposed to be engaging in that conversation because it's going to lead to a blossoming flower or a tree later on, and hopefully it will bear some fruit. It's not up to you, though. You're just merely a vessel. That's why the prayer, like, God, use me as a vessel. I want to be like your living sacrifice. That is such a dangerous prayer if you don't know what you're trying to get yourself into. When you pray that prayer, God is liable to use you the way he wants to. It doesn't matter. Anything else doesn't matter to him. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter if you want to do it or not. Like, you have to do it, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and that's how you know it's God. She's making me uncomfortable. Hold on. She's like over here in her little bouncer, and she's moving a lot. Hi, sweetie. I'm gonna take you out now, okay? Okay, sweetie. Oh, oh, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, okay, thank you. Oh, my hair. Please no, thank you. Oh, my. Okay, okay. You're beautiful. Yes, I love being your mommy. Um, God is going to tell you to go and speak to people or just speak to the masses, even if you feel underqualified. And trust me, I am very underqualified. There is nothing in my history that should prove that I am worthy for whatever he has called me to. But we have to remember that we are never worthy. God doesn't qualify the call. He doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the call. And that's what he's doing. I am definitely not qualified. And my first time doing this journey, I've been doing this on and off for like a year. On and off. I haven't been consistent. That's why I don't have any like results. But again, everything in its perfect time, right? I feel like God has been preparing me and preparing you for whatever he has for you. So if you feel like you're skating backwards, it's okay because that's a part of his perfect plan. You're supposed to skate backwards. You're supposed to feel like, am I going to make it there? But one thing God promises is to keep his promises. He is a promise keeper. He is going to give you a promise that is very, premature. When you receive it, you're going to be like, how? He ain't going to give you the how. He's just going to tell you it's going to happen. And that's it. And you just got to follow and just obey his command and submit to the mission. So when he told me, like, this person's going to, either A, you're going to have to go up to them, or B, they're going to come to you and you're going to have a conversation. It's like, my flesh wants so hard. So hard to talk to them and be like, yeah, we're not doing this. But God's like, yes, you are. And I'm like, do I have to? Like, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to talk to you. I don't like you. I don't. But God's like, but you love him, and you said you want to love me, so love me by obeying me. That being said, God is going to put you in some uncomfortable circumstances, and you're going to have to go with it, roll with the punches. Even if you want to say some things from the flesh, you just got to discipline your tongue, discipline your mind. Because if you have come far in your walk with God, and then he puts you on this detour where you got to talk to people from your past, and you don't want to, it's a test for you. Not just for them, but for you. And you're going to have to either A, pass it, or B, fail it. If you tank it, it's just going to keep coming back. So you might as well do your best and give it your all. I am not ready for any of these tests, but there's a testimony in the making, so I kind of have to get it together. But I just want to come out here and just tell you guys, like, you guys are not alone. God has you where you are for a purpose, even in your dead season, which you think is dead, but is really not dead. He's using that for his greater good because he wants to put you in a situation where the world's gonna be like, there's no way that person so and so ain't got it, so and so ain't qualified, so and so is just darn right, not as sharp as the sharpest pencil in this pencil box. At the end of the day, God is gonna have the last word. You gotta remember that you are working on His behalf, and when people don't, accept you with open arms, they didn't accept Jesus with open arms. They didn't accept His disciples with open arms. And sometimes people will mock you, but they're not mocking you. They're mocking God, and that's not your fight. That's His. So keep your mouth, quiet, and just keep yourself at perfect peace that God gives you. Because at the end of the day, He is going to give you everything He's promised you. You just got to pass them tests, baby. Just pass them. So I'm not only here to encourage you, but encourage me to just continue leading in closer to God. If you guys feel like you don't understand what God is saying, especially in the Bible, I recommend to do the 365 days Bible app. It's a plan with Tara Lee Cobble. It's really great. The reason I really appreciate it is because she has a podcast that goes with her readings for the day. So whatever chapters you read, she'll have also a YouTube channel, and it is linked into devotional. So after you read it, you go into the devotional, and at the very bottom there's a YouTube video, so you can watch it. She breaks it down. She tells you and summarizes the story, so that way it's better for you to have an understanding of what was said, because sometimes the Bible be speaking a language that is just not something I understand. Just like speaking in tongues, I don't get it. It's like that. There are other different tools that you can use to help you do that, because God has called people to help with your walk with God. Other than that, I hope you guys got something from here, or if I was able to encourage you one way or another. Sweet, are you okay? Sorry, we are not feeling the best. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I hope that something great happens to you. I'm praying that God has unexpected blessings for you this holiday season, and that you guys are just going to be able to lean in and find your passion and your purpose that God has put into your heart, and just answer the call. So until next week, have a great rest of your day.